This is Katie, the Novel Stitcher. It is Monday, August 5th, and this is Flosstube 39. This is a channel where I talk all about my love of cross stitch. I show what I'm working on, my starts, my finishes, my whips, any haul that I have, and then I also talk about bookish content, and that comes at the end of every video. So if you're new here, thank you so much for checking out my channel. I hope you'll stick around. I hope you'll like the video, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Tell me where you're watching from or how you found my channel if you're new. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for being with me again. So excited to spend some time with you and share my stitching. And I think you'll notice I'm in a new location. This is my office in my house. Finally had the walls painted, a nice shade of kind of a light minty green, got some shelves installed where I can put stitchy goodness. And so I will be filming in here from now on. I'm gonna be working on the lighting situation. Hopefully it works out today. I don't have a ring light or anything, but if I need to get one, I will look into that. But we'll see how it goes and adjust as needed. I also wanted to do a quick note about my book club, Stitches and Pages. It is kind of a cross-stitching book club that I hold. I'm going to start doing videos for Stitches and Pages separately from my Flosstube videos. So if you're interested in joining the book club for August and September, I have a video that I posted a couple days ago, and that is to choose the book for August and September to vote on the book. Voting will close tomorrow, Tuesday, August 6th, probably around 4 o'clock. So if you're interested in joining in and voting on a book, head on over to that video, and updates about the book club will be in those separate videos to help just keep track of everything more easily. And then I will still keep talking about books in my floss tubes, but that'll be more general book reviews, what I'm reading, all that kind of good stuff. So I hope everyone is having a great start to August. July was a pretty busy month, so I've been a little bit more sporadic with my filming, but hopefully I'll get back to doing it about every 2 weeks going forward. But this past weekend I was in Pittsburgh. It was my good friend Stacy's bachelorette party for her and her fiance. They're getting married in October. I was initially hoping to just go to the shower that they're having in a couple weeks, but everyone in the bridal party was able to make it this weekend for the bachelorette, so I said I would go down or over. It was at an amusement park, which isn't really my vibe, but we had a good time. It was nice to meet everyone. I hadn't met all of her friends and everyone who's going to be in the bridal party. And I'm not a big roller coaster person, but a bunch of people in the group also weren't into the roller coasters, so we went on the more gentle rides. It was kind of rainy, not the best weekend in Pittsburgh weather-wise, but it was still really fun, and it was nice to see her and to meet some of her friends. So it was a good trip, and I let Alex stay home so that he could just relax. So that's what I've been up to, and I think August will be a pretty quiet month. My mom's gonna visit just for a mother-daughter kind of shopping trip mid-month. Her birthday's in August, mine's in September, so we'll get together and go shopping and go out to lunch and hang out. And she's also gonna help me pick out a dress for Stacy's wedding, since I am a bridesmaid and we're allowed to pick out our own dresses. We just have to pick something that's black, so that should be pretty easy. But my mom is the best person to go shopping with when it comes to having to pick out clothing. That's our thing. So we'll see what we can find, and that'll be nice to see her. Other than that, just hanging out this month. So let's dive into the stitching, and I'll have a little bit of bookish chat at the end as well. So in the past few weeks since we last got together, I have one finish, I have a start. I worked on, I think, about 6 whips. I have a tiny bit of haul and one plan. So let's dive in. So the first thing I have is my finish. This was a Christmas and in July stitch, and so I started in July and finished in July. And this is Tall Treat by the Blue Flower. And this is stitched on a 36 count Gray Magic by Bestitch Me, and I use the called for DMC. And I think the lighting is pretty good because that is very true to color. There's a window there, so we can kind of get a natural light on it. But that is Tall Treat. It's super cute. Giraffes are my favorite animal, so it was super fun to stitch a giraffe. I think he was really well charted. I love his Christmas sweater and the candy cane. Just super sweet little stitch. I am not sure. You might make a slightly large ornament. We don't have a big Christmas tree, so I don't know if I'll turn him into an ornament or maybe just do like a little stand-up that I can put on one of these shelves. I'll have to, I don't actually know how to make a stand-up. So by stand-up, I mean like a flat fold or sticking it on some sort of board or something that might stand. I mean, a stand-up would be cute. I just don't have a sewing machine. I don't know how to do that. Now, I am going to get a sewing machine for my birthday, which is in September. Alex was actually just asking me the other week, like, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, I want a sewing machine, remember? So he said that's fine. But I don't know if I want to dive into trying to make a stand-up when I don't even know how to sew. We'll see. But that is Tall Treat by the Blue Flower. And that was fun to start a Christmas in July stitch and finish it. And so the next one is my new start. And I was going back and forth. I'm in a starting mood, but I'm trying to be considerate about what I want to start. And so I was considering Huga Holiday. That's one that just came out from Hands On Design. I shared that in my last video. I decided not to start that because it's winter themed and I'm not really in the mood to start anything winter right now. And I didn't know what fabric I wanted to stitch on, all of that. And so I was like in the mood to start something, but being kind of indecisive about what I wanted to start. And then on August 1st, Teresa Kogut released her August Patreon pieces, and this one caught my eye. And so I decided to start this. So this is Harvest House. So you have to be a member of Teresa Kogut's Patreon in order to get this pattern, but you could sign up this month and get the pattern from her Patreon if you really like this one. And she's got a few other fall ones that she released. At first I was just gonna do like the pumpkin and the harvest and the vines, but then the house started kind of appealing to me more and more the more I looked at it. So I decided to stitch the whole thing. Or I will stitch the whole thing. So I kind of went more creative with my fabric, and I'm stitching this on 40 count Duxbury by Fox and Rabbit. I'm using the called for DMC. I think Classic Colorworks might also be an option, but Teresa does give you the DMC. And a very teeny tiny start. I just started this last night. And so I really just I didn't even finish this smoke up here is not done, but a little bit of the chimney, the smoke, and the start of the roof. And so this is gonna be a fun one. I think that house is gonna be cool, and I love the shading on the pumpkin, and I'm just in the mood for fall, and I haven't used like a fabric that's kind of more funky with different kind of modeling. So I think that this is going to be kind of a cool one to stitch, and I'm looking forward to making some progress on this. So yeah, I really love Teresa Kogut's Patreon. I will say, and some people have asked me, I can also show, hang on, the DMC. Just really perfect fall colors. I will also say I'm really enjoying these floss bottoms from Adam Hart cross stitch. They are both bobbins and floss drops. So they have this for your extras. They have the hole here for your floss, but then they also have the cutouts where you can wind it, bobbinate it, and put it in a bobbin box. And so these are great. I really enjoy them. I think they'll be really perfect for storage. They are a little thick, and when you wind them, if you have the full skein of DMC, it's a little hard to get it all through the cutout at the bottom, but you could just wind it around and stick it in your bobbin box, because if you have enough of them, it'll stay tight. But I really like these, and I think it's making it really easy to keep track of all my floss and pull it out of the project bag like this, to be able to just pull it off of the floss drop, and it's just much more organized. So I ordered another pack of these because I am now out, because I'm starting to put most of my DMC on these. Obviously, like I said, I ran out, so this one doesn't get one, but those are the colors for Harvest House. And I was gonna say, I know people have asked me about Teresa Kogut's Patreon Stitch Along Hometown, which will be a really long chart of a town with all different little shops and buildings going all the way down. I know quite a few of you are working on that. I've kind of put a pause on that for this year. I'm not gonna UFO it. I am gonna keep working on it, but I think I'm gonna wait and work on it over the winter. It's gonna be really cute and I really want to stitch on it, but it's not like the most exciting or fun pattern. I don't want to say it's not fun, but it's very primitive. And so I think it would be a good winter stitch because I'm getting toward the season where I'm going to want to be stitching fall and Halloween and some really fun, funky patterns going into that. And so I think Hometown might be a really good one for the winter when I don't really stitch winter because I don't like the cold or the snow. Like, I like the snow, but I don't really like stitching that season. And I won't want to be stitching spring yet because that'll just make me want it to be warm and spring-like. So I think Hometown is just a very neutral pattern that'll be really great for winter stitching. So that's my plan for that. But that was my new start, Harvest House. And so I have a whole bunch of whips. And so the first one I'm going to show you is part of my Stitches and Pages book club. We read Funny Story. We met the other week and had a wonderful chat. It was so much fun spending time with everyone. I really enjoy the Zooms. If you like to read at all, I highly recommend you check out the book club. Plenty of time to jump in for August and September since we're just voting on the book now, but we read Funny Story by Emily Henry, which is a romance. So the stitch I decided to do to kind of match the theme of that is Nordic Heart by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I am stitching this on a 40 count natural raw linen from Zweigart. And I made quite a bit of progress. I'm not gonna remember entirely where I was last time. I mean, I definitely didn't have a lot of this done. I didn't have any of this done. So it was just some of up here that was finished last time. But I'm absolutely loving this one. Every time I sit down and stitch on it, it's beautiful to see it come together and all the stitching to really start creating something, and just like the patterns and like how intricate it is, but it's not hard to stitch. It's really enjoyable. The monochromatic is really nice to just stitch with one color, not worry about any color changes or anything. It makes this really enjoyable. And I am using DMC 498. So just a really lovely bright red that I think pops and looks really great on this natural raw linen. And I just want to stitch this all the time. And I will definitely be stitching more Modern Folk Embroidery because that one is just a lot of fun. And obviously that is 1/2, and so is Harvest House is 1 strand over 2 linen threads. That's normally how I go. 36 and up is 1/2, and anything below that is 2/2. And so the next one is a stitch along, and you can still join in if you want, but I am close to finishing this one. And it is, sorry, I'm trying to find the pattern in the bag. And it is Fairy Garden. So this is part of my Stitch a Garden Sal that I started on the first day of summer in June. But if you want to join in, you certainly still can. And it's just to stitch anything with a garden. And I thought this was just a super cute pattern. I'm really liking stitching Blackbird, and I just wanted to stitch something small and fun for the summer. And so I am stitching Fairy Garden on a 36 count Affogato from Fiber on a Whim. And I've made a lot of progress on this one. And here's where I am. And so this is really, really cute. I'm just loving this one. It's just simple, it's easy, it's cute. There's not a ton of colors, but they're really, really fun pinks and reds and the greens. I did use a slightly darker green here because I didn't have the called for, which is a bit more of a green brown. But I like the way that pops. I think these look really beautiful on this Affogato. And I'm so close. I worked on this a little bit today because we have some mandatory trainings that we have to do every summer for work. So it was good to put that on the background and in the background, listen in, but do a little bit of stitching since this one is not too complicated. And I really just have some stuff up here to finish, and I totally forgot to do the back stitch inside of that flower. So I gotta remember to do that because that is something I will forget to do. But I really just have a bit of stitching up here and I'll be done. Oh, and maybe put my initial here. So yeah, that's so cute. Look how pretty that is. And that's gonna be really cute, like to put on one of these shelves. I don't know if I'll do it this year because this is more spring summer to me, and we're heading out of summer already. It's already August, which is crazy, but I'm hoping I can find a little frame or some little wooden block or something that I can finish this on, and then maybe it'll go on my shelves for next spring and next summer. So that is Fairy Garden. So that one is super fun. Let me know if you're joining in the stitch along, if you're stitching that one or stitching on something else that has a garden. Okay, and then next one I worked on is for Stacy. So I was just mentioning that she is the one who's getting married, whose bachelorette I went to this past weekend, and she and her fiance are having like a funky 1950s, slightly vintage, slightly Halloween themed wedding. Very quirky, but very them. So I'm stitching I Love You to Death, or Reaping Love by Silver Creek Samplers. So just kind of quirky and funny. And I told her and Dusty this weekend that I was working on something for them, so I didn't tell them what. So they're really excited to see it. And actually Stacy was like, oh, I forgot, I haven't watched any of your Flosstubes lately. I should watch them. And I was like, no, you shouldn't, because I'm talking about your stitch, so please don't. So, but I'm stitching Reaping Love on a 36 count old stationery by Seraphim. And this is my progress. And I made pretty good progress since the last time. I think I might have had the eye and some of the sickle and a little bit of the heart, but I finished up the heart, finished up the sickle. I did the 2 with that little crow, and then I started on the Y for the U. And I should have taken this all the way out of the Q-snap, but I did not. But I think it's coming along really well. I think they're gonna love it. It's gonna look great in their house. And yeah, I'm gonna put their initials, their wedding date on the bottom. And I definitely am trying to focus on getting good progress on this one because it has to be done by, like, fully finished by mid-October to bring to their wedding in Pittsburgh. So yeah, that's exciting. I think it's gonna turn out really cute and I can't wait to give it to them. I do have to figure out when to give it to them. I might see if I can sneak in a time during the rehearsal dinner because I don't want to just leave it on the table at the wedding venue because I just don't want to take any chances of putting all this work into something and having it maybe go missing, get lost in the shuffle if I just give it to them at the wedding. So I will have to see how that works out. But oh, I forgot to say, for Fairy Garden and for this one, I'm just using the called for, except for Reaping Love for the heart. Instead of doing this kind of really bright red, which is either DMC or Classic Colorworks or either or, but it's a very kind of vibrant red, which is cool, but I thought variegation would be neat. And I had this Cottage Garden Threads color, Hugs and Kisses, that I thought would be perfect for that. So I'm using that to get some funky variegation. So this is a nice thread to work with, and I like this color. I will say, like, I don't know if I noticed really the differences so far in using fancy floss between like how I like stitching it or the quality of the thread or anything. Like, I like them all. Some people say Weeks Dye Works gets kind of torn up and stuff like that, and they're not huge fans, but it doesn't bother me, and I like Classic Colorworks, and this is my first Cottage Garden Threads, and this was nice to work with too. So I don't know if I currently have a preference, but it is interesting to hear people talk about different kinds of flosses and whether they like working with them or not. And for Fairy Garden, it's mostly sampler threads, which I really like, just the colors that they have. These are all kind of tangled, but I think Gentle Arts has some nice colors. So yeah, those are those two. And I'm trying to stay organized because the desk, I used to film these at my kitchen table, and this desk is a little bit smaller than that. So I'm just trying to figure out my organization of things as I show them. But the next one, and I was debating showing this or not because I've made some good progress on it. But like I told you all, I was gonna finish it like a month ago and I'm still slogging away at it. But figured I'd show you Oh Joyous Day. I was wanting to finish this, I think at the beginning of July. And I think I just got, I want to say I got a little sick of it. I got a little bored. And this is the biggest pattern I've stitched. So I'm worried, and I hope that I don't feel like that with like bigger patterns or other ones that I have, where I just feel like I'm working on it for like forever. And it's only been, I think, a little over a year. I meant to look up when I exactly started this one. I don't have my notes with me on when I started it, but I think it was like last spring or last summer. It was after Alex and I got engaged, which was last April. So it was definitely like in May or June, I think. And so it's only been a year, but feels like I've been working on this for longer. But I'm so close. So I am going to really try to finish it by the time I film next, which should be in 2 weeks. So please don't mind my needle minder. I'm not gonna take it off, but here is where I'm at. So the last time I showed this, I maybe had this flower done, maybe not. I did the 2023 for the year Alex and I got married. I did the 2 birds, and I'm working through this flower here. So it's getting there, and I gotta dedicate some time to it this week. I have to finish this satin stitch row up here. I have to finish this here, and then there's another border, the same border as here on this side. And then there's another satin stitch border along the bottom. And then the needle, there's nothing under the needle minder, no stitching. So this is where Oh Joyous Day, the words go over 1, stitched 1 over 1. And then the date, which I have December up there, but I don't like how it looks. So I'm gonna fix that. And then put the date of our wedding, which is December 2nd. So it's coming along. This is on a 36 count Steinbeck, and I am using a mix of the called for DMC and the called for Weeks, and maybe there's a gentle arts or 2. Called for fancy and called for DMC, a mix of both. So we're getting there. We're close. We're close. Another reason why I slowed my progress on this one is I ran out of Weeks Dye Works Oscar. And so I needed to buy more Oscar because I couldn't finish it without that because it uses quite a bit of that color. And just if you want to see, these are on just paper floss drops and also kind of messy, but yeah, that's a mess. It's all tangled. But they are really pretty colors of DMC and mostly Weeks, I think. So we're close. And if I just focus on this, you know, maybe like a half an hour a day or something over the next couple weeks, I should finish it. And hopefully the next time I film, we'll finally be able to show you a finish of that one. And then two more whips. So I did get a lot done, but it has been 3 weeks. And it's just a little here, a little there on some of the patterns. And just been in a stitchy mood lately, so it's been good. So the next one is another PDF one. This is the Halloween Sal from Historic Sampler Company. So here's what's released so far for the stitch along. There's actually a new part that just got released today. So here's all the parts that have been released so far, including today's. Only a little bit of progress on this one, but it's so cute. And this, I'm pretty sure, is just a Pearl Gray by Zweigart. It's a 36 count. I am using, there's a dangling thread, the called for DMC. And that is what I have so far, but that's cute, right? I like those pumpkins, little spider. I like that black and white border is a lot of fun. So this is just a cute one, and it's fun seeing the pieces revealed, and I just love the pattern. I'm sometimes a little hesitant about stitch alongs because you don't know, you know, what the full pattern is going to look like. But from the sneak peek, I could tell that I was going to like the style of this, and I really do. And it's going to be fun to keep working on, especially as we head into fall months and as we head into October. I don't think I'll finish this by Halloween, but I'm hoping to make progress on it here and there. And I'm pretty sure you can probably still sign up for the Stitch Along if you'd like to. Just go on Historic Samplers Society's website, and I'm sure there's information on there about signing up, or I'm sure they'll release the pattern at some point for you to buy altogether. So, but that one's really cute. So I think this is a 36 count pearl gray from Zweigart, 1/2, and call for DMC. So that's a lot of fun. I like the colors. They pop, they're vibrant. Let's see, here they are. They're just very Halloween-y. So, very pretty. And then the last whip, which I'm pretty sure I did not show you all last time. So I'm pretty sure this is new progress. If not, oh well. This one's such a fun stitch too. This is, let me get the threads off. You've Got This by, oh, I should show off the pattern, shouldn't I? There we go. You Got This by the Artsy Housewife. I really love that owl. She's releasing a lot of new ones at, I think it's Needlework Marketplace that's happening in a few weeks with a lot of the designers releasing their new patterns. She's got some cute ones. I don't know if any caught my eye enough for me to pre-order or get at this point, but I really love stitching on this one, so I'm sure I would love stitching on some of her others as well. And this is gonna go in my office at work to remind me that I got this on the days that are rough. And this is on a 32 count Whisper Lugana, so just a gray Lugana, and that's 2/2 then. This is 32 count, and I'm pretty sure I got a lot more of that owl's body done since the last time you saw this, so he's really coming to life. I love his eyes and how he looks in his face. And this shouldn't take too long. I just have to do the other flower on this side, and then I think he's mostly done. He just has a little bit more to go down there, and then the mug. So this one should stitch up pretty quickly. So I'll keep making progress on this and hopefully finish it within the next couple of months. Be able to put that on my desk at work, because I don't have any stitching on my desk at work right now, so that would be fun. I just have a cubicle, but that would be fun to place in my cubicle. And I'm using Call for DMC for the most part, except for the mug. I decided to go with Cool Azul by Classic Colorworks. So that is You Got This. And I know a lot of people said they're stitching on this one, and if you're not and you're interested, it's really an enjoyable one. I'm really liking this. So that is pretty good for how much I just showed in 28 minutes. That's all the whips, the start and the finish. And then haul, I just got a couple things. Like I said, I needed to get Oscar by Weeks Dye Works, so I've got a few other fancy flosses I was low on. And then I needed another cross-stitch journal. So I ordered from Fat Quarter Shop because they're the ones who have the cross-stitch journal. I already filled up one of these, and it has room for 50. Now I will say, of those 50 projects, a lot of them I've finished, and a handful of them I'm just not going to finish. I'm going to UFO them. And so I needed a new one because all 50 slots in the old one are taken up. But basically it just has your stitchy list where you write down all your whips. So I have 6 so far in this, so that's 56. But out of the 56, I actually only have 30 active whips. And I'm very close to finishing Fairy Garden and Oh Joyous Day. So that'll get me down to 28, which I think is reasonable, but who cares, right? But then you put, your projects in that list, and then you fill out your information. So the pattern name, the designer. I just started filling this out today, so some of the details are missing, but what you stitched it on, your stitch count if you want, any kind of floss you used, time tracker if you want, notes, all of that. And then in the back, it has some notes, thread inventory, which I've not filled out the thread inventory, but yeah, it's just a nice notebook and a good way to keep track of all your projects, and a good way for me to keep track of everything for my floss tubes so that I'm giving you all the correct information about fabric and floss and all of those things. And so I got that. I got some 25 count lugana just to have in stash. Doesn't hurt to have some extra 25 count. I was going to try an ornament 1/1 with the 25 count and it just wasn't working. I don't know. I gave up on that real quick. Other people have been stitching 1/1 on 25 count, so I want to try it at some point, but the DMC was too thick. So I think people have been using silks maybe. I'll try that at a later date. And then the last little piece of haul, I have not been in any Fabric of the Month clubs, and Be Stitch Me posted on Instagram about a month ago that they had some openings for their neutrals club, and I decided to just go for it. It's fun getting fabric in the mail and you don't know what you're getting and it's a surprise, and it'll help me increase my stash, and I just thought it would be cool. So if you are in the Be Stitch Me Neutrals Club and you have not gotten your fabric yet, look away. But the kind I got for this first go around is coconut shell, and it's this really, and this is coming true, mottled. I got a big cut. That was a great face I made there. Yeah, so this is cool. I like it. I don't know what I'll stitch on it, and it's a lot of fabric. So I think it will force me, being in this club, to kind of get out of my comfort zone. Even though this is the neutrals club, this is not, you know, a color I normally stitch on. I do a lot of less mottle, a lot of grays, a lot of lighter fabrics. I think Reaping Love might be like the darkest fabric I'm using right now. And so this will kind of get me to be thinking a little bit differently, which I want to do because I see people stitching on such creative fabric choices, and I just like don't know how they do it. But I think having this fabric in hand will make me think, as I see patterns, okay, will that work on this? Or maybe I wouldn't have purchased a pattern previously because it was on a darker fabric and I'm like, oh, I don't know. But having this might be the inspiration to be stitching some different things, or stitching things on a different kind of fabric than I would normally lean toward. And I know they won't all be dark. There'll be a lot of different colors and options from Be Stitch Me, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. And if it turns out that I get a few shipments and the colors just aren't ones that I'll really use that often, I can always not be part of the club anymore, but I thought it would be fun to try. So that is my haul. I have one plan that I'm telling you well in advance in case you want to join in. So my birthday is in September. It's September 11th, and this is a pattern I've wanted to stitch for a long time. It is Rest a While by Plum Street Samplers, and we have a little fox friend in our backyard. We just call him Mr. Fox because I don't even know if it's a guy, but we just call him Mr. Fox, and he's been coming around a lot more lately too, around like 7:38 at night. We usually see him most nights just wandering in the backyard, having a little snack. I think he's trying to catch bugs or mice or things, and just having himself a good time. And I love just standing and watching him out the windows as he wanders around the backyard. So I've wanted to stitch this for a while, and now with our fox friend, I definitely have the inspiration to get started on it. So if you want to stitch this with me for my birthday, let me know. September 11th is a Wednesday, so we would start on that Wednesday. I don't have a hashtag yet, but I could come up with one, and I just think this is super cute. So if anyone wants to stitch Rest a While with me, let me know. I will have to figure out what fabric to stitch it on. At first I was like, ooh, maybe this would work, but I think there's too many browns in this pattern. I think I do want to do something a little bit lighter, but also so that the white of the tail will show, though the tail is outlined in orange, which is good, because that would help define that if it was a lighter fabric. But yeah, let me know. But that's my only, like, I don't know, that's the only plan I have right now. I definitely finish Oh Joyous Day, finish Fairy Garden, because that one is so close, keep working on Reaping Love for sure. Keep working on dabbling on a lot of the ones you just saw and letting myself start things when I feel like starting things. We will be picking out the book club pick within the next few days, so I'll have to figure out what start might make sense for that, for whichever book we choose. So, or I could work on a whip, but I might do a new start. We'll see. And I think that's it for the stitching. I definitely want to get into some fall stitching. I am doing a little bit of Halloween and fall, and I'll be pulling out a couple of the Halloween and fall whips I have in stash starting in September. So more plans for September. For August, it's just kind of Oh Joyous Day, Fairy Garden, and stitching what I feel like stitching on. So if you're here just for the stitching, thank you so much for joining in and watching. Let me know what you're stitching on. Are you ready to dive into fall stitching? Are you still doing summer stitching? Where are you at in your stitching life and in your life in general? Just let me know how you're doing and what's going on with you. And if you like bookish content, I have one quick update on what I'm reading. So I'm just listening. So I finished Funny Story for the Stitches and Pages book club, which I enjoyed. I like Emily Henry. I thought it was well written. I thought it was really cute, a sweet book, and I liked the characters. So that was enjoyable. I'm still working my way through Tess of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson that I mentioned. That's a standalone fantasy novel. It's good and I'm enjoying it, but for some reason I don't feel the desire to pick it up right now. So hopefully I can get back into it and get back into that mindset of reading it, because I am enjoying it and I like Brandon Sanderson a lot. So I don't want to not finish it. I'm not going to DNF it, but I just guess I have to be in the right mood. Maybe this weekend. I think it's the kind of book where I want to be able to really sit down and read big chunks of it instead of reading a little bit here and there, and I just haven't had that dedicated time, so that might be part of it. But the audiobook I'm listening to that I'm really enjoying is The Sicilian Inheritance. I'll put a picture of the cover here. And so this was recommended to me by a coworker. I think she knows the author. The author lives in Philly. So this book is both set in Philly and Sicily, more Sicily than Philly, but there is some, and I live near Philly, so that's cool. But it's about a woman named Sarah, and she is kind of in a transition period, a rough period in her life. Her and her husband are kind of on the outs. They're, I think, in the process of getting divorced or at least separated. She has a young daughter that she's struggling to just make time for with the struggles with her husband. And she opened a butcher shop / restaurant in Philadelphia. And it didn't go well and she had to close it. And I will say this is, I think it's fiction, but I think it's somewhat based off the author's real life. I'm not positive, but I think my coworker told me that like some of this is based off the author's life. So anyway, this woman, Sarah, is, just having all these struggles, and then her Aunt Rosie passes away. And at Rosie's funeral, Sarah is left a note from Rosie, and Rosie has bought her tickets to go over to Italy. And Rosie had wanted them to go over to Italy together, but they just didn't have a chance to before Rosie passed away. But Rosie and Sarah's extended family are from Italy and still own land there. And so Rosie wants Sarah to go and see if she can claim back the land that they have in Sicily. And, Sarah decides to go because if she could sell this land, it might help with some of the financial stresses of closing her business and some of the issues she's having. And she also wants to honor her aunt. And at the same time, her aunt wants her to spread her ashes. So Sarah goes to Sicily to find out about the land and spread her aunt's ashes. And while she's there, she finds out that not only did her aunt want her to do those two things, her aunt also wants her to solve a murder. And so her aunt's mother was murdered, which Sarah didn't know. She figured she died of an illness or something. And so she's in Italy and she finds out that her aunt's mother was murdered, and now she is being asked to figure out what happened. And so that's kind of where we're at. She's kind of starting to unravel some of the clues and the information about her aunt's mother and what might have happened to her and who she was and her history. And Sarah's a little torn. Do I even want to do this? It happened 100 years ago. Rosie's gone. Doesn't really matter what actually happened, but I think she's at the point where she's starting to get like drawn into the story, and now she wants to know what actually happened and the history there, and then at the same time figure out the land situation and honor her aunt and all of that. So far it's good. It's a little quirky. The characters that she's meeting in Italy, and the setting is fun to read a book set in Sicily. So we'll see where it goes, but so far I'm enjoying it. The audio is really well done. I really like the narrator. I think there might be more than one narrator. One has like an Italian accent that's really well done. So I'm enjoying it. So if you're interested in like that kind of book, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of history, family drama kind of thing, I'm not done with it, so I never fully give a review until I'm finished, but I am enjoying it so far and interested to see where it goes. I think I only have a couple hours left in the audio, but I feel like it's nowhere near the end, so we'll see how it goes for them to kind of get to the meat of all that needs to be wrapped up in a couple hours. But it's probably a couple hours. It's probably a lot of time for an audiobook in terms of like pages left. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that one. And then when I finish that, I will have to pick my next audiobook, and my next print book will be whatever we pick for Stitches and Pages. So I think that's everything I have. Hopefully this new setting works out. The lighting is good, but I can play around with that if I need to. And I should be back in 2 weeks this time and get back into my regular routine of posting every 2 weeks. And I am inching closer also to my Flosstube anniversary. I think it will be 2 years over Labor Day weekend. So we'll have to find a way to celebrate, but I think that's all I have for now. So thank you so much for watching, especially if you stuck around this long. If you did, leave me a book emoji and let me know what you're reading as summer winds down. And I hope you all have a great couple of weeks. Happy stitching and happy reading, everyone.